I don't have too much of a formal agenda. I just wanted to show or kind of give an update of a few things from the last week. So first off is 1.7.7 is officially out. So uh, hopefully you've all seen that, and it should be. I haven't checked if it's available on Google Play yet. Let me check that actually. Go to the Google Play console here. Again, hopefully there's no super secret info. Bomb Squad, blah, 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 production. Uh, okay, looks like it. Yeah, it should be available. It's also, the standard like test builds. If you go to ballistica.net, downloads, you see the 1.7.7. I did just notice a few people have mentioned that tournaments are not working for them, and I did just reproduce that on my end. So apparently there's something broken with tournaments in 1.77. I will get that fixed as soon as possible after I'm done here and get, I guess, maybe 1.7.8 just can be a bug fix build to fix tournaments. So if anyone is, if tournaments are working for anyone, please let me know. Right now I'm going to assume that it just incorrectly detects that you've tampered with your app and doesn't allow them for anybody. I'm sure that's probably related to all the code reshuffling that I did in 177. So hopefully that should be a quick fix, though. But anyway, if you're playing a lot of tournaments, maybe don't update to 177 quite yet, or skip it altogether and do 178. I think, like I said, I'll do a quick bug fix release to get tournaments working again. There's always something. So anyway, but on the positive side, there's lots of fun new stuff in 177 if you haven't played with any of the test builds. So if you do changelog, like here, you can see 175. Ooh, actually, does this work if I zoom in? Do you guys see this? Or does this like mess everything up? Zoom works? Okay, sweet. Okay, I'll start doing that maybe. So if I'm typing something or doing something small, you can see it. But anyway, yeah, 1.77 has quite a few changes in it. A lot of them are under the hood things. Just I started to kind of clear up the C++ layer. I think I was talking about this last week a bit. Just a lot of just random tidying and preparation for 1.8. I'm going to try to clean stuff up as much as I can while it's still in 1.7, so then I can, like keep fixing bugs and things like that. But because as soon as I cut it off and start 1.8, then I can't really fix 1.7 as easily anymore. But anyway, yeah, there's lots new in 1.7.7, but the big thing, probably the biggest thing, is the console stuff. So console stuff, if you haven't played with it, it's basically if you sign into your account, if you sign into a V2 or Ballistica account, whatever you want to call it, then you can use this little devices section. And the way that works, to show you, is so I'll just launch the game here. I should be, yeah, I'm signed in as me on there. Then you go to devices, and then this should show you any devices that you have that are signed in as you. So this is me, MacBook Pro. And then you go to console, and then this just gives you a nice little console you can use to, for one, see any Python output from the game, but then also enter it here. So let's see if I just run like a Ballistica command, hello world, do a screen message, poke exec, then you can see that it runs that in the game. So it just gives you a really easy way to kind of, mess with Python. Anyone, if you've been doing modding on like a desktop or, a PC or Mac or Windows machine. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. I just added that literally an hour ago. But yeah, anyone, if you've been doing modding like in a terminal on a Windows or PC or whatever, or PC or Mac or whatever, this should be very familiar. This might not improve your situation much, but anyone who's modding on a phone or Chromebook or something where you don't have access to the the Python prints and stuff like this should be hopefully pretty useful. But yeah, I've been kind of cleaning this up yesterday and today, so I just added kind of special commands. So the one if you just do @help, it prints a few things. There's not too much here yet, but I can add more. So it shows some shortcuts, like you can do Command Enter or Control Enter to run stuff. This one, I just added this, so you can clear your screen, which is great. If you do something like help BA, if you run help on some big Python thing, it can take a moment, and then it spits out a crap ton of text. Like this is all the Python help for all of the Ballistica module. So at some point, if you're spitting out this much text, depending on your machine or whatever you're running it on, your browser is probably going to get laggy. So it can be helpful to clear point. You can also run that with, for me, I have it set up on my Mac, so it's Command K will do it. I didn't map it to Control K. Let me know if there's something, if there's a handy, like what other apps map clear to? Like what's a common command shortcut? Like on the Mac terminal, I'm used to the Mac terminal here, so it's always, Command K just clears all the output. So I just set it up to be the same here. So get a big bunch of output and then Command K. Control L. Okay, so yeah, I could do Control L as well. I'll make a note of that, or I'll just ask it later if I forget. Or clear. Okay, I don't have clear on my little laptop keyboard, but yeah, I could see if that is possible to map in JavaScript. All of this code actually, like most of that code is it's literally just JavaScript. So I'm being all janky with it, and I'm including it just inline in this in the HTML here. I know that's not a good way to do it, but it works well in this simple case. So anyway, you should be able to find all that code down here. It's just little JavaScript code in here if you want to mess with stuff or experiment and show me what works well. Where is that? Somewhere here, it's adding those shortcuts. Oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, here it's just setting up on key down. So Control or Meta and E or Enter will basically do the exec button, and then stuff. Alt or Meta and K will do clear. But yeah, we can add like a clear key or whatever else, or Control L. So anyway, that's that for the console here. So it should be hopefully useful for debugging stuff on, like I said, phones or other things like that, where it's kind of hard. Like you could Android phones, there's an Android log, so it technically was possible to see game output before. It's just like then you have to install basically like Android developer tools and run like ADB and all this funky stuff. So this should be helpful in a case where all you have is a phone or a tablet or whatever. And if you have other features you'd like to see in this console, please holler. We can. Oh, whoops, wrong help. We can add other commands here if there's useful stuff. I don't know what kind of stuff we could add, but anything you can think of. And also let me know if it's performing terribly. I know it's going to be like a little bit laggy because these commands have to go to my server here in California and then out to your device. So, if you're on the other end of the planet or something, there'll probably be a little bit of a delay. I'm going to see if I can improve that. Like if I have more of this stuff run on like the local servers that are near to people. So I'm starting to think about how to kind of get that going. But for right now, it might be a little bit laggy just because it's sending everything all the way across the world. Oh yeah, eval. That's I was thinking of that because normal Python can run like that. Like, yeah, if you bust out Python here and then you run like 1 + 2, it will evaluate it and give you 3. So you can currently this doesn't run that way. So if I do, you can run something like that, like 1 + 2, but then it doesn't actually print the output in that case. So yeah, maybe I can have it just print the output. If you give it a single expression like this, it can print the output. Right now you have to tell it to explicitly print that, and then you'll get 1 + 2, or then you'll get the output. So that's something to be aware of right now, is that it doesn't do the eval cases. These shortcuts should be there. If you may need to refresh if you have a console open, just uh, let me make sure. Well, let's stick it .net. Yeah, that's the official one. Devices, boink. Yeah, so actually I found on my Mac here, only Command K works for clear. Like Macs have Option instead of Alt, but this one, it doesn't. But if I do Alt K or Option K, it actually just like prints weird symbols, so that one doesn't work. And I'm not sure I think it's called mod in the JavaScript, like mod K or whatnot. I'm not sure what that maps to on Windows. Okay, so the command works, shortcuts don't work. Okay, what is able to claim what, or which keys the browser will claim or whatever, but we should tinker with the code and figure out something that works well for everyone. Gives error. Oh. I could get super nerdy and like allow configuring this or something like that. Just something where it would like store the key shortcuts in your Ballistic account. I don't know. I don't want to like go too far down a rabbit hole, but that could be fun. Oh, if you type any space. Oh yeah, yeah, it will. Like yeah, that will give an error. Um, I tried to mention that. Let's see. At least I think I did. Where did I mention that? Oh yeah, under the help it says there's a special case where like if you only give it one line of code and there's no new lines or anything like that, it interprets it as like a console command here. But if there's any new lines like this, it'll see that there's multiple lines and it'll just pass that on to Python. And so then, oh whoops. Well, first I have no no game running. So if I do help and then enter and then run that, see it tried to pass those lines onto Python, and the game's like, what the heck is at help? Um, is this okay, like at for like special console commands? I was thinking we could do, we could prefix it with anything, but at help seemed good. Or what do you guys think? What feels like a natural like console command prefix? Oh yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah, we could do. Yeah, does that seem better, or that, or anyone else? We could have a vote or something. I'm fine with whatever. I was just trying to think of something where it would never actually conflict with, like a single line Python command. And I guess neither of those would usually. Yeah, I feel like that just looks like a Python comment. To me, that doesn't look like some code I would expect to do anything. But I figured, yeah, either of these. I mean, I'm trying to think of a Python command where, anytime you would actually want that to be evaluated in Python, like, that would evaluate in Python as false. If we do print, oops, ah, stupid smart editors. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I guess that's. I always forget Python has not and not that. Huh. So maybe that would be good. I don't remember if Python uses exclamation points for anything. Well, anyway, something to we can think about that. But can one make votes, or can one do votes in Discord? We could have a big like giant vote with everybody. Yeah, I was thinking dollar. To me, dollar sign, that just looks like a variable because there's so many languages that just use that to mean a variable. So to me, that doesn't look like I want it to execute a command. Oh, well, anyway, we can debate this offline or whatever. Um, so let me think. What else is new? So that's largely it. Like the 177 stuff and the console stuff. Oh man, the debate is still raging. I'm like, yeah, for me it seems to come down to exclamation point or the at sign. So I don't know which of those. Okay, yeah, I'll probably leave it for now, but if the majority of people are feeling like maybe exclamation point would be preferable, we could switch it. Or we could actually just allow both, but that might overcomplicate things. So as I said, I think that's largely everything I had to talk about. Just wanted to show the console stuff, and I guess I can talk about what I'll be working on next. I might clean up a little bit more console code, and then I probably need to address some server stuff. Oh wait, actually, the very next thing is getting tournaments working again. So I'll do that as soon as we're done here, and then yeah, after that, probably need to address some server side stuff. Just there's still like some inefficiencies with all the V2 accounts connecting. There's some sort of like memory leaks. I think I mentioned where my little BASN nodes, the little nodes I have running all over the world to host like private games and things like that. There's something not getting deallocated there, so I think I probably have some like Python reference loops or something that it's causing memory to like slowly grow and grow and grow over time. So um, need to get that kind of cleared up. So I'll probably do a little bit of that stuff, and then I know I promised a kind of a coming up with a proper like REST API. So I think that's one of the next things on my list too. I just want to come up with like a nice clean API that won't change and that also that I can use myself, like even on like these internal pages, like my little simple ballistica.net web pages. Like if I go through that API, but then also have it exposed for people to submit JSON requests to it, I think that would be good because then I'm like dog fooding my own stuff, as they say, and that's always useful. And let's see. So, anyone have any topics, questions? Like, what has anything happened this last week? Have I missed anything? Oh, clear the console in game. Like this console? Oh yeah, clear. I guess works. I totally forgot that. Um, so yeah, there is this in-game console. It'd be cool to make this in-game console work better at some point. Like you can't actually like move the cursor back and stuff like that. It has a few features, like it has like a history. If everyone can actually see this little in-game console. So I use this for like very basic stuff sometimes, but the fact that, like I said, you can't actually move the cursor around kind of sucks. This is all in the C++ code, so if anyone feels ambitious and wants to like make it better, feel free. Yeah, I am curious what's happening in like on my server. I know there's some cases where like there's reference cycles where you have like object A is referencing object B and object B is referencing A, and so then in some cases it can't clear those. But yeah, it's supposed to have like that cyclical garbage collector, which should get those cases. I imagine the problem I'm running into is I probably am holding a reference to it somewhere that I don't realize, like in my I have a list of, the running tasks and things like that that each of those server nodes are doing. Just to show you, the things I'm talking about are these purple guys. So these are the BASN nodes, the ones that are listed here. So right now, each of those has slowly uses more and more memory over the course of a day. And so then I have to spin up a new one after about a day. I used to, before 1.7, I was running each of these for about 4 days. So I'd spin up a server and then it would be able to run for quite a while. And then I would replace it eventually. But because of the memory leak, I have to spin up new ones a little bit faster now, which I don't like doing. So I need to get that taken care of. But there's basically lots of clients coming online and connecting to each one of these and then disconnecting. So there's probably something that I'm holding on to that I shouldn't be holding on to, which is just staying in memory. In general, Python's memory collection works decently well. I've found. One interesting bit of trivia, if you're familiar with this stuff, like Python garbage collection. In the game, I think I mentioned this in the documentation somewhere, but the game actually turns off part of it. It turns off the cyclical stuff. So if you're coding stuff in the game, you need to be kind of careful to keep it deterministic. So what that means is, if you're making a Python object and then the last reference to that object goes away, that object will be immediately cleaned up. And you want everything to kind of work that way. So you want to avoid, as I mentioned a minute ago, if you have object A references object B and then object B references object A, those two things will keep each other alive. But normally Python has a cyclical collector that will detect that situation and then it'll kill both of those objects if nothing else is referring to them. But that kind of runs in the background and it runs, not kind of at random times. So that's the reason I turned that off in the game, is because that can be expensive and it can cause pauses and things. You see this sometimes, and I think Android at one point was kind of guilty of this. Its garbage collection ran in the background sometimes, and it would cause hitches. Sometimes the UI would just stutter a little bit because garbage collection is running. So because of that, I didn't want the game doing the fancy cyclical stuff. So you need to be careful that if you do have reference cycles like that in any code, make one side of it use a weak reference. So a weak reference is something it won't actually keep the object that it's referring to alive. It'll let you know oh, hey, this thing I'm referring to is dead, but it won't actually keep it alive. If an object only has weak references to it, that object will just get deallocated. But anyway, not to get too technical about it, but yeah, it's something to be aware of if you're coding mods, is that there's no cyclical garbage collection. The game runs it. I think it runs it explicitly, between rounds. There's a few times where it runs the fancy garbage collector. I think when the screen is fully faded out, so that if it does cause a long hitch, then it won't be noticeable. But normally it doesn't run it during the action. So you just have to be a little bit careful that you never kind of rely on that. So anyway, random spiel about garbage collection. All right.